Hi, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Kit Conspiracy. Today I am using the other half of the paper that I used yesterday. I really love this paper, so yeah, wanted to split it out onto two different layouts and use it separately. I am going to end up doing another single photo layout, but I started out with a whole pile of photos you can see there on the right hand side. And I quickly narrowed it down to just one, and I'll explain that in a second here. First of all, using the ripped piece that I used before, the opposite side of it, like I mentioned, but this turquoise piece, I want to save as much of it as I can. So I've already cut off a strip of it on one edge. It's cut aparts on that side, and that's what I'm trying to save it, not necessarily for the blue side, although the blue is very pretty. And I am inking up around the outside edge, but I am also now looking at what else I can save, and I'm thinking that bottom right hand corner that is protruding there, I can save a couple of those squares off of it. And so that's all I was doing there, is measuring to make sure that if I cut those two squares off, I'm not going to be selling myself short, and that I have plenty of paper to cover up that edge. So I don't really end up having a plan for that green flower on the black background or the other one, but I just like the paper so much and the embellishments in this collection so much that I was like, I'm just going to save it and not waste it if I don't have to. So I did ink up the outside edge of the text paper as well. You can kind of see that ripped edge is a little bit more defined because I have added ink to it. And as I mentioned, I was going to use all of these photos. Interestingly enough, I decide not to. I end up using the top left one, and that's my mom with my niece in the orangey coral colored dress and my daughter in the gray dress. And I end up using just that one and making this kind of a special layout. My mom has a really special relationship with both the girls, and so I wanted to kind of capture that. The other photos were a lot less important to me. The upper right one is my niece with my brother, her dad, and her stepmom. And my brother is her dad, if that sounded weird, like there's a third person in there or a fourth person in there. Anyway, and then the bottom one, there is the two girls with their teacher, and then the one that has all of the little, it doesn't have any people in it, is a display board that we made for the graduation ceremony. Each of the kids made a display board about something in their lives, and that was actually just all of the travels we have done. The kids were young. I decided I want to use some tags on this, so I went to the sheet that is tags front and back. I think you end up with 30 different options. So there's 15 on each side of that sheet of paper, which allows you 30 choices. And I am looking for some that are going to contrast with the upper area of the turquoise there. So ones with black. I really like that photo looking one, or photo strip one. The floral one looks really good. It's going to be a nice contrast up there, and it's also going to be nice because it balances out the camera that is in the bottom right hand corner. And then I needed a couple spots for a little bit of journaling, so I thought the other two, the one that says beautiful and then one that's plain, would both be great spots for a little added journaling. Now I'm just using a regular hole punch to punch the holes in these. A crocodile would work as well if that is what you have on hand, although my crocodile, the hole is a little bit smaller than a regular hole punch, so you would end up with a little bit of the white or the center of the hole still left behind. Now, I do like this word beautiful, but for whatever reason, I decided not to use it. I think it was just a little bit too big for my liking, but as I see it here, it looks great, and I don't see any problem with using it. But I end up using the puffy sticker that says beautiful instead. The font is a little bit different, a little smaller, and the ascenders and descenders are not quite as big. So I end up switching that out. I am inking up all of these tags with some black sit distress ink, and I want those to be pretty bold. So I went over them a couple of times and kind of really saturated the little edges there. I don't want the ink going all the way in or anything, like rubbed to the center, towards the center, but I did want a good dark line around them. I really like that little piece that says moments now that I see it on the screen, but it's not going to make the cut. I felt like it was covering that camera too much. And so I don't end up using it. But it does look really good tucked in with that word beautiful. So maybe on another layout I'll use that. I also do like this piece that says life documented. And I don't end up using it. I end up going with this piece that just says beautiful in the puffy sticker. And I think that works out fine. And I like the way that it looks. It adds a little bit of dimension and it's bold, but it's not as big as the other one. I did find these two little other tag pieces, I guess you would call them. Maybe banner pieces, I'm not sure. And I am going to use those just to kind of change up the sizes that are up above, but it looks really matchy to me at this point with one on each of the end pieces. So I tried bringing in that chipboard piece that is similar, but that doesn't make the cut either. But I do know that I'm going to have to add something else to kind of make it look like it's not just two ponytails on each side of the four tags there. Yeah, it just looks like, I don't know. I didn't want to go every other one because then I felt like that was a little too, I'm just going to say matchy. That's not really the right word for it, but I didn't want to go every other one because there's an even number. It just kind of made it a little bit weird. And I think this is the point where you go, okay, odd numbers work really well together because right now my eye doesn't know which one of those two end tags to look at. And so I know I'm going to have to do something up there to fix that, but I haven't figured out what quite yet. I decided to go down and use some of these labels and things at the top of my photo and work on that little area while I'm kind of thinking about the other area, and maybe in my search for pieces to go underneath my photograph, I will come across something that works well up with those tags. Now, nothing is glued down at this point until I glue the photo down. Once the photo's down, it is down because as soon as I put that word beautiful on it, there's no peeling it up. Those puffy stickers stick so well, especially to the photos, that you got to know where you're going to put them. I also was kind of conscientious about making sure it was all low enough because I wanted that word beautiful to kind of rest on the faux black and white washi tape that's under it, and I didn't want it over the top of the top portion of the camera where you would hit the button for the shutter. I wanted it kind of over the front of the camera, or what would be the front of a camera, so you can really kind of get all of the details there. And now's when I decided to go ahead and just go for it and glue down all of those tags. And so I don't really lift them up. I just kind of pop them up on the side and put a little glue under them. The only one that I did pick up was the one with the film strip on it. And I put some foam under it to give it a little bit more of a prominent feature. And I found that piece that has the butterfly. That is a chip. I believe that's a you know what? I don't think it is a chipboard piece. I think it's just an ephemera piece, and I end up putting foam under it to give it a little pop. No, I do put foam under the right-hand side of it to make it so that it stays level with the film strip tag that it is sitting on. So yeah, it is just a piece of the ephemera, and I really like the way that that looks. So I'm kind of staying in the purples and turquoise colors rather than adding a whole bunch of the pinks. There are some pinks, of course, in the florals in those tags, and there's a little bit of yellow in the bottom right hand corner with the flowers there, but I'm not really getting heavy with those colors. I'm focusing most on the turquoise and the purples, and I really like the way that that's looking. So I feel like this kind of balances things out, and it gives you a third spot for your eye to rest up in those tags. Adding a little leaf cluster behind the piece that I'm adding with the butterfly on it, and I think that looks really good. And then, you know, that's where my eye is drawn to, and I don't worry so much about where those other two pieces are. And the one that is on the far left-hand side, I'm going to leave it in the center of the tag, and the other one is going to have its own little spot. So that's also going to make them so they're not matchy-matchy on either end of this cluster. I'm just using a little bit of thick baker's twine from Hobby Lobby. There was a ton on this roll. I've been using it for ages. I can't even tell you how long, but it's been a long, long time. And I am just kind of pulling it through. I did use a little bit of glue to hold the ends together so that I could use it, poke it through the holes. Oh my goodness. It's been a long day. Yeah, so I could poke it through the holes and have it not unravel on me. And then I did the same with the opposite end. And then I'm going to use my tiny attacher, and I'm going to go ahead and just use the staples to hold those little strings in place. And I like the way that that looks. And it doesn't look off balance or anything to me anymore. So that makes me kind of happy. Adding this little pink flower to the cluster I've created here just to give it a little bit of a pop. And it's kind of weird. That's like the only small flower in this collection that I found. Maybe there might be one other one, but the rest are so big. I don't know. It just seemed like a misfit. So it was the perfect place to use it. I am using some of the little hearts off of the sticker sheet in varying colors, scattering those around to bring some of those colors into the other areas, and just kind of balance it out. Those are my little tiny embellishments that just kind of finish the entire layout off. I just like using something really small, whether it's a little bit of splatter or some sequins or enamel dots or little tiny hearts like this or stars or whatever, but I think it's nice to have a big mix of sizes. So that is it, you guys. I am going to do a bit of journaling on those tags, so you're not going to get to see that, but talking about the relationship between the girls and my mom. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Go see what MK has for you today. I can't wait to see what she has come up with. And I hope you're enjoying Kit Conspiracy. Hit the like button if you are, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'll put a couple of links at the end here, so if you want to see more Kit Conspiracy videos, you can go and see what we've done in the past. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.